Welcome in, welcome in. This is the Champaign Room podcast. I'm Illini Isaac, joined today by Ethan Pavey of the Champaign Room, who helps us make content and has done some research into the new Illinois football defense and more. Ethan, thanks for joining today.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited.
Yeah, first and foremost, what are you looking forward to about this season? Are you optimistic, pessimistic? How are your feelings about Illinois football?
There's a lot to look forward to for this season, as there is for any season. But especially like with our schedule that we were given, we do have those tough games against Oregon and against Ohio State. But besides that, I really think we have a good schedule that we could get only like a 3-loss season and be competing for a college football playoff spot. So I think there's a lot to look forward to in this season, but it really needs to show. I think Bielema is really good at like getting his team playing together, but we'll have to see how fast into the season they're all playing together as one collective unit.
So, Ethan, you're on the younger side a little bit, but who is your all-time favorite Illinois football? Like when you think of Illinois football, you think of your fandom. Who do you think of?
Um, who do I? His name's Reggie Corum, right? The
Reggie
running back,
Corbin.
right? Reggie Corbin from a couple of
There
years
you go.
ago.
Yep, yep.
He growing up, he was definitely a name in my house. For one of my younger birthdays, he sent me a birthday message, and so every Saturday, I'd always be watching the TV, rooting for him, and seeing how he would do throughout the week. So definitely him. He's definitely been the staple for my Illini fandom on the football side. And he's really sparked that interest for me. But definitely for closer to nowadays, Tommy DeVito, like really sparked that Bielema era, if you would. He really he understood what the Illinois culture was, and he really took us to another level as a football team.
Yeah, no, I remember I loved watching Reggie Corbin. Just unfortunately was on some rough Illinois teams, but had a lot of talent, made a lot of plays when there wasn't anything there to be made. And again, DeVito was so calm, cool, and collected. I was talking with Bob Koch from the Providence Journal last week. He covers the Patriots, and he was just talking about Tommy and just the value that it is to have somebody like calm veteran in the locker room, and you definitely saw that when he was in Champaign, and that was a big year, and to have somebody consistent at quarterback like that and wasn't really making bad plays was huge. And the reason I asked too is because I think for me, I think Luke Altmaier is going to be like that guy moving forward, and he's got to be. I mean, there's been some awesome Illinois football players in my lifetime. There's been a stretch where there was like nobody memorable really, but just the fact he was able to pull out games, win games, and he's playing tonight. We were chatting before this for the Lions in the preseason, and yeah, so I was just curious, like growing up in your era, in our era, like who your favorite player was, but. A lot of new faces on this year's Illinois team. The defense last year, probably the biggest storyline. I think you could have beat Washington last year with a better defense. Wisconsin, everything kind of went wrong, but your defense definitely didn't help, giving up some massive plays. And there were just times where it was like, what are we doing? Why are we just like letting them run all over us? And there was just a lot of games last year where it felt like the defense really blew the game and put a lot of pressure on the offense. And then that's when the offense made mistakes. So Bobby Hauck comes in, new defensive coordinator, interesting scheme. A handful of other teams run it in the country, Power 4 teams, but not a ton. So you've done some research. Tell us a little bit more about the 3-3-5.
Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to with this new scheme that Bobby Hauck is bringing in to the Illini football program. Be ready for a lot of pressure at that line of scrimmage. His goal with this new play style is to make sure that his best tacklers are isolated on that line of scrimmage. A lot of blitzing, a lot of pressure throughout that offensive line area, getting to the quarterback, getting to the rusher. And it's just going to be a lot of chaos in the beginning of the season. Normally with this scheme, it does take players a little bit to get used to it, to get into the swing of things. So in the beginning of the season, throughout those first 3 to 4 games until we get into conference play, get used to like a little slow start on the defensive side. But come the end of the season, come bowl season, if we're in the playoffs, come playoffs, we should have that down pretty well, and it will be an exciting thing to witness on the defensive side. But the defensive's goal with this 3-3-5 is to confuse everyone pre-snap and during the play. If they can do that, if they can get the offensive linemen to be confused and pop up all over the line of scrimmage, hopefully we can get some tackles for losses. That's what we're going for, tackles for losses going the other way with this scheme. And there's also something to look forward to with Bobby Hauck, with his son Robbie Hauck as the assistant defensive back coach on this defensive staff. So it'll be a lot to look forward to in this season with Bobby Hauck coming into the team, bringing a new play style from his 19 seasons at Montana. He knows a lot. He knows football. He knows the ins and outs of football. From what I've heard, he's a little hard love guy on the players, so the players love him for that. But it'll be exciting for what he can bring to the Illini.
I just wanted to say we're proud to partner with State Farm agent Brian Hansen, dedicated Illini fan. Just as we work to bring you coverage of Illinois athletics, Brian brings the same energy and commitment to serving his clients. If you're looking for a local professional who cares about the community and the orange and blue, visit brianismyguy.com today and see why so many Illini fans trust Brian Hansen and his team for their home, auto, business, and life insurance needs. This segment is also brought to you by Chiefs Naturals. Chief is proudly named after the University of Illinois mascot, and to keep him fueled, Chiefs Naturals created premium, all-natural treats with 0 mystery ingredients, perfect for your dog. They are officially launching this September. Head over to chiefsnaturals.com right now and join the VIP list. You'll get exclusive email updates about the launch. You don't want to miss the first Chiefs Naturals drop. Again, that is chiefsnaturals.com. Simple ingredients, epic tail wags.
So obviously Illinois has a veteran defensive back group and defensive backfield group, and I think objectively is less deep, like at linebacker and on the defensive front. So do you feel this is really just a pivot to help your strengths on the defense in the back end, or is it simply, hey, our defense got stale, we need something new?
I mean, you've been seeing this all over the country. They're trying to switch up, stir up the pot a little bit. The Big Ten hasn't seen this type of play style in a while, so they're trying to nail it down. Offensive coordinators might have not have seen this type of play style, so trying to get into the heads of the offensive coordinators, the different quarterbacks, it starts to take a toll on you once that defensive line is in your face more than like a lot during the game. And so I think that's what they're going for. And so it should. We'll see. Hopefully these defensive backs can learn this staple of a defense quite quickly. But we'll have to see come season if Bobby Hauck can staple this within our players, within the veterans, and within the newcomers to our team.
So what players on the defense is this really supposed to benefit? Like, certain defenses, it's like, well, you create gaps and plug up certain holes so the linebackers are able to come in and make all the tackles, or other defenses, like you stack up the box so they can't even get downfield a few yards. Who's really supposed to benefit from this defense?
Yeah, definitely the defensive line for this scheme. Their goal is to go backwards, get negative plays. They don't care about giving up passing yards. They want to make sure that everything is stopped at the line of scrimmage. If they give up passing yards, so be it. But their goal is to stop everything at the line of scrimmage, no running, and make sure they're in that quarterback's face. A lot of pressuring, a lot of blitzes throughout the season, a lot of sacks, hopefully. And so this defensive line will be feasting in the trenches, if you would. But it should these defensive backs, defensive line should love to see this type of play style, and it'll be exciting to see all the craziness on the defensive end.
And just for who's ever listening sake, and correct me if I'm wrong, 3-3-5. So we're talking 3 down defensive linemen, 3 linebackers behind them, and then 5 defensive backs with a couple like hybrid linebacker defensive back roles, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Cool. So okay, so a lot of DBs out there, obviously Juice Clark, Matt Bailey. I know Bielma's been talking up Mac Rasetich and some of the other older defensive backs that are returning. Xavier Scott, obviously. So having 5 of those guys on the field at one time is probably going to be super helpful too. Now I know you mentioned, it might take some time to get ingrained and might take some time to be built in. Are there any games early on the schedule where you're a little worried that, okay, if the defense is still coming along and the offense isn't firing on all cylinders yet, like Illinois might be in trouble?
I mean, you look at the schedule and right away you see that Ohio State game pretty early on into the season. And so you're always worried about that. If this defense, these first 3 games that we have against UAB, against Duke, these should be games that we can just like start running this defense a little bit, get a little bit of practice in for the Big Ten schedule. Any Big Ten team is going to be tough. We've seen in the past, we've dropped a couple games that we shouldn't have last year against Wisconsin. Like anything can happen nowadays in the Big Ten. So hopefully once we get into the Big Ten season, this defense is starting to click a little more than it did week 1. And so we'll start to see, but that Ohio State game is a little nerve-wracking being at Ohio State, being in Columbus. We've seen what that atmosphere can do. And so it'll be interesting to see if Bobby can get the guys all together, can get everyone knowing on the same page come that game. But we'll see when push comes to shove.
Yeah, the Ohio State game's never fun. I think a big step in the right direction would be keeping that competitive. Because Ohio State is just obviously on a different level. And then same thing with Oregon. I just don't, even that Illinois team a few years ago, that was, one of the better Illinois teams of my lifetime, just got absolutely embarrassed by Oregon. Yes, we had some injuries and things like that, but I think just keeping those games close, to losing by like 14-21 would be fine with me. Just don't lose 38-3 or whatever. And even the Ohio State game last year at home, I know the score was closer than it looked. I think it was like 16, it ended up being like 16-40 something or whatever. But yeah, I think keeping those games close and showing that, okay, we belong on the field. We're definitely a few steps below. Like things like, I feel like Iowa's always done a good job of that, not getting blown out. They might lose 21-3, but just being a solid program, and you just clearly don't have the athletes that Ohio State does. So it's you mentioned it being like a favorable schedule. What are some things you really like about Illinois football schedule? And we're only 21 days away. I think it's 3 weeks from today is the first game.
Yeah, I mean, the first 3 weeks is something that you have to look at going into the season. UAB, Duke, and I'm forgetting the third team that we play.
SIU.
Yes. And so those 3 games just coming out of the gun should be good games to get the confidence up, to start like a little bonding, if you would. But it should be exciting to see the guys jump the gun right away, coming out of the gates, coming into the new season. Hopefully no injuries throughout those games. But also on the Big Ten side, we have teams that we're known to beat. Purdue. Hopefully, we were talking about it, but Michigan State, we're playing at Michigan State this year. That should be a good game. It's just there's a lot of games that Illinois is going to play that you circle them and you hope for the best, but we should take care of business as we have the past couple of years. So it should be exciting to see those games, to see those wins. Hopefully, some blowouts. and not do what we did to Purdue a couple years ago, where we kept it close till the end. But it should be exciting. It should be some exciting Big Ten games in there. Hopefully having a winning season throughout the Big Ten. And I mean, there's a lot to look forward to in this schedule. But yeah.
Besides Ohio State and Oregon, which game do you think is most likely a loss?
We've seen what this Duke team can do. I know I've been talking up these first 3 games, but this Duke team, we've seen them, what they can do in the ACC last year, winning the ACC championship last year, knocking off Virginia from that college football playoff spot. They're always a tough team to beat. We've seen them in the past having a bunch of winning records, a bunch of good records. But it'll be interesting. They come to Illinois this year, I'm pretty sure. And so we'll see how the home atmosphere helps us in that game, but also if we can take care of business early in the season before we play Southern Illinois. So it'll be an interesting test going into the Big Ten season. But we'll see. Hopefully, Bobby and Bielema and all of the coaches can get our players in the right state of mind for that game throughout our early UAB game. Should take care of business in that UAB game, but come Duke time, we should be able to take care of business. But it's still one to be a little nervous about.
Yeah, and I assume for the UAB game, hopefully they won't show everything and then, pull out some surprises against Duke. So yeah, Illinois 3 weeks from today takes on UAB at 8 p.m. Central Time. Now, there's a handful of games later in the season at Maryland. Maryland just lost one of their best players. Nebraska at home, at UCLA, Iowa at home, at Northwestern. Which of those games are you most excited about?
I mean, Iowa always has a good test against us. It's becoming a little bit of a rivalry with that team right now. It's a toss up between either of us for any of those games, but definitely that Iowa game. It's always a hard fought battle between them. They always have a really good defense going up against our powerhouse offense that we've seen in the past. So it'll be an interesting test for the boys later in the season, hopefully for that game. So definitely that Iowa team, we've seen a lot from them, but we also have a lot to prove as the Illini. So hopefully come that game, the boys are ready for that test, and it'll be a good game.
I think lastly, what's your overall record prediction for this team?
I'm pretty high on them coming into the season. Hopefully, I mean, looking at the schedule right now, I only see us dropping 2 to 3 games against that Ohio State, against that Oregon, and then maybe we drop one to the Iowa or to a Maryland on the road. So I say we only lose 3 games and then we win the rest. So what is that? That's
9-3.
9-3. Yep. Yeah. So I say we go 9-3. We're fighting for 9-3 ceiling and maybe like a 7 and 5 floor. 7-5. And yeah, hopefully we're competing for a college football playoff spot, but we'll definitely in a bowl game come bowl season.
What gives you confidence about this team, even though they've lost so much?
I mean, just looking at the head coach Bielema, everyone can see what Bielema has done in the past couple of years, what he's done for the program. It's always going to be a good season when he's leading the team. So I mean, you got to be happy when Bielema's out there. So it's going to be exciting. I'm very high on Bobby Hauck, what he can do for the defense, and we've also all seen what the offense have done over the past couple of years. Caden coming in as the quarterback should be an interesting new switch that the Illini haven't seen because Luke has been here. But it'll be a good change. It'll be a good change of scenery, and hopefully we can string some stuff together and have a good season.
No, absolutely, gonna be a lot of fun. Hard to believe it's only a few weeks away. Well, Ethan, first of all, let us know, plug your stuff. What are you working on? What do you got coming up? Where can people find you on socials?
Yeah, I mostly post on my Instagram, which is at the Ethan Talk, no spaces. But yeah, I'm always creating content in the Metro Detroit area, and so go take a look if you're interested.
No, for sure. Thanks so much for joining. I'm sure we'll have you on again soon. And Ethan's been doing awesome, helping make some content and get us ready for Illinois sports 2026, 2027 to get started. So thanks again for joining us. This has been the Champaign Room. Got a lot more content coming your way, and most importantly, ILL.